Okay, so I thought I'd do a bit of a video on the story behind Get Stuff Made. As a company, we really encourage all of our clients to get in tune with their stories. Like, everyone wants to know why, they want to see the behind the scenes, they want to know where you come from. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about ours to start with. So, like I said, my name's Demi. I founded Get Stuff Made a few years ago. It's come from years and years of experience and training in the garment industry. So I went to the university in Leicester, I went to University, and I studied fashion buying there. So I would say that I've got more of a spreadsheet head than a design head, if there are two different types of heads. I really enjoy clothing and being creative and kind of everything that comes with the fashion industry, but I'm not actually a designer myself. I can't draw, I've never been able to draw, and I really like clothes with a purpose. So even really early on in doing my degree, I honed in on kind of technical clothing, maybe performance sportswear, apparel that has to do something as well as just look really cool, kind of this 2 points, to everything. So I did a fashion buying course, again, because then there was the business side along with the fashion side of things. I didn't have to write a dissertation. I had to create a final major collection in my final year. And mine was actually on a performance rowing kit. In fact, let me show. When I was at uni, I designed and created a range of rowing clothing for women specifically. So I was big into my rowing, you wouldn't believe it because I'm tiny and I'm really unfit now, but I was women's captain and then president of the DMURC, so the rowing club there. I really threw myself into it and absolutely loved it. Problem was the kit sucked. So at the time, all of these years ago, it was all unisex kit, so nothing fitted the women very well. So yeah, my major project at university was to redesign rowing kit to make it look a bit cooler to actually fit a women. So things like tech tops, again, cool little Raglan sleeves. This was all printed, my own design again, little honeycomb. I actually created and designed this full-scale woolen poncho. Again, you can't really see it, but this was like my absolute pride and joy at university. It was really cool, like I still do kind of think it's quite cool, but it was technical and it performed and it was water repellent and the inside was lined and there was a reason you could throw it on over the top of all of the layers, there was a purpose for it. And I also redesigned the onesie, so if you are a rower you'll understand what that means. And I made it into this cool little slightly sexy, slightly vesty, strappy number. Again, completely sublimated at the top, a different waistband, and trust me, this looks like a superhero costume if I'm completely honest, but this was such a step in the right direction for having kit that was basically a Victorian swimsuit at the time, much more flattering for women, hence all the nice seams and things. So that was university. I learned how to pattern cut, I learned how to sew, I learned the business side of things as well, so I learned how to build a range, I learned how to market things, I learned about stories and how to kind of put a business together. I then decided to go to the Netherlands, as you do, and I actually did an internship for nearly a year for O'Neill, so the surf, snow, hang on, let me move my bag. For the surf, snow brand, O'Neill, and again, absolutely incredible experience. So I worked in the product management team, I was an intern there, and I was in the snow, headwear and luggage categories. So I was kind of helping to manage the styles that were going to be put into the range and what the designs were and the reasons for each style being in the range and then being sold for men's, women's, kids. So snow jackets, snow pants, base layers, fleeces, like everything that you would wear if you're going to go skiing or snowboarding. And then all of the luggage, all of the bags, all of the gloves, all of the headwear, kind of anything accessory wise that went with it as well. So again, I spent 9 months thrown in at the deep end, working for a really cool brand in a really cool city. But just learning so much about how to put ranges together, what works, why things sell, what people read, the stories behind things basically. After that, I moved to London and I had a couple of jobs in London. I worked for an outdoor apparel brand and then a cycling brand. And I actually went more into the buying. I worked as a buyer's admin and then more into merchandising. So looking at spreadsheets all day. Oh, I'm quite out of breath. I'm not used to doing these things. Oh. The more business side of it. So I wasn't really working on the product a lot of the time then, but again, it was numbers behind the product. It was the finances that go behind it. It was logistics, talking to suppliers, like lead times, critical paths, all of the boring business stuff that's absolutely critical to making sure that a product can actually have product, making sure that a brand can have product. I decided that London wasn't for me. So I'm originally from a small village in the middle of nowhere, and I now live in a small village in the same middle of nowhere. I did full circle. I decided that I didn't enjoy the busyness of London, how expensive everything was. I wanted to get back to kind of living in the countryside, and so I could get a dog and things like that. I went home and decided to launch my own brand of rowing apparel. So who'd have guessed? So I worked part-time alongside these London jobs. And I came home and got a part-time job and was earning a wage, and then working on my own brand called Blue Heron for about 2.5 years. And again, that was the biggest learning curve. I think more learning was done in those 2.5 years than the rest of my time at university, and even then working in industry. We went through, let me get more samples. Sample after sample, still got pins in. After sample after sample, and I was making these in-house at home around my normal hours. Again, my sewing ability is absolutely minimal, but it worked. We could fit it, we could test the different fabrics. I was back rowing again, so I could jump in a boat and I could actually test them out, and we ended up then deciding to go to a manufacturer, and we did men's as well. So we got some professional ones made up. These are just the samples again. And we launched Blue Heron, and it was incredible. And the reaction I got was amazing. And I nearly sold through all of my suits. And again, we had 6 different styles. I launched with 6 different styles, all for different seasons. Look at this guy. This is a tall, look how much bigger it is than me, because it's for a tall man. Merino sleeves, long leggings, fleece line, absolutely water repellent, zipped pockets on the back. These things are actually still bloody brilliant. Like, I absolutely love them. Anyway, we launched that, and for 2.5 years, I grafted away at that. And I actually managed to secure a sponsorship with the Oxford University lightweight rowing team. So if anyone knows anything about rowing, you're gonna know Oxford, Cambridge. The big boys would have been insane, but I actually worked with the lightweight team, and they were really, really cool to work with. And our final Blue Heron suit was born. So this is the women's one. So this was made by a factory in England, because I wanted everything to be made in England. And you can see the Oxford branding on that. So that's the lightweight badge and our little Blue Heron badge. And again on the back, the fit of it, the zips. So this was it. This was my brand. I'd done it. I knew how to do it. But then I'll be honest, I chickened out. It got to the point where I knew I needed a big chunk of investment to scale it up. Like I said, I was doing the development in-house myself. I was then getting manufactured in the UK. And I was selling through, like I said, I've got a few pieces left, but I just about sold through. But they get to the point where you then need to either scale up your marketing, scale up your photo shoots, scale up your website, or scale up and order a big bulk of production to then kind of have all those things at the same time to do kind of stepping it up. And I decided I wasn't quite ready to commit to that at the time. So I thought, right, we'll put it all on hold. I'll keep all of these samples for another day, as I have done. And I went back and got a different job. So I stayed working in London, but I actually stayed at home. So I was doing a commute in and out from Bedford to London. And I went to work for a luxury cycling brand. So I actually was a merchandiser there before, but I loved the culture, I loved the atmosphere, so I went back. And I then worked as a product developer. So because I'd had nearly 3 years experience developing garments myself, they felt I was experienced enough at that point to join their development team, their big team, and start developing some of the most beautiful cycling kit you've ever kind of laid eyes on. Rafa were an amazing company, and I was there for a couple of years again. And I worked on ranges with our in-house designers. We did some specialist big brand collaborations, and then I finished my career there working on their custom kit. So it was taking the pre-loved cycling jerseys, everything that the Rafa customers knew and loved, but then making it customizable. So going back to the printed stuff, how do colours translate from screen to print to teams? So yeah, again, the time I spent there was absolutely insane. And I went from learning, how to develop things on a small scale, so like me with my pins and my tape, to doing it on a big scale, sending comments to suppliers, timelines, lead times, critical paths back from then again. So all, nicely tied together. I then decided that, again, funny enough, London wasn't for me, been there, done that. The commute was too much. I was losing about 4 hours a day commuting. And I decided that, why am I living out in the countryside if I don't really spend any time in the countryside? So I got a job closer to home, and that was as a garment technician for an outdoor brand called Roham. And again, I was there for a few years again, and absolutely loved my time there as well. And I got to work on, again, technical clothing. So everything had to have a purpose. It had to be packable or breathable or durable. There had to be a reason why it was better and why you could go and wear it on your hikes or your overnight camps, or, even like treks to the desert or something like that. A couple of years in, maybe in a year or so in being there, I got the itch to start doing my own thing again. Like I got with my rowing suits, like I got with the business, why I end up doing like full circles coming back. So I started doing some freelance work just alongside it in the evenings, only a few hours a week. And the turning point actually came when I thought, right, if I'm going to do this, I need to kind of get a bit more of a business background. So like for me, developing new clothing and accessory products, globally, locally, like easy, can do that for days. That's literally what I'm trained to do. But actually building a business, well, that's a whole other thing at the end of the day, isn't it? So I found a course that I really liked the sound of. It's called the Activation Plan by Lady Startup. And it was a 6-week course, and it taught you kind of everything from like customer profiles to marketing pillars to PR to financing, to all of these things that if you built your own business, you're going, yeah, got to have all of these. Whilst I was on that course, I was there going, right, I'm going to relaunch my rowing kit brand. Like I know it's an idea that works. I'm not actually rowing at this point, but I know that, the market is there. And even now, all these years later, I still think there's a market for it. And I started this course, and about 1 week in, I had lots of people. There's a big Facebook group where you can kind of ask questions and interact with people. Literally thousands of people in this group who do this course every few times a year. And I made a comment about saying, I know how to do this, but I'm trying to get some help doing this. And I had quite a few people then get in touch directly and say, you know how to get clothing made. Like, do you want to help me? I'm trying to launch a clothing brand and I have no idea where to start. And literally, bing, I had a bit of a, light bulb. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Because I was like, yeah, I know how to do it. And I thought maybe that could be a business idea as well. Instead of having to go back down something I've tried, let's have a go at doing something new. And I'd already been doing a few little bits of freelancey bits. So maybe actually that could be the business instead. And it literally grew from there. So it started from doing the freelance bits to then taking on a few more clients, balancing full-time work alongside the freelance whilst doing this course. And I rebranded and came up with the name Get Stuff Made, because literally one person said, you know how to get clothing made. I was like, I get stuff made. And yes, then fast forward to nearly 2.5 years later of me quitting that full-time job and saying, I'm committing to Get Stuff Made full-time. We have this amazing studio. I have a team of really amazing studio people. So where I'm going, my sewing's not that great. I'm going to hire people who are. And we now offer a massive range of services. So we still do like freelancey project management bits. We can still build tech packs, but we've now also built a range of templates and online courses that you guys can do if you want to DIY things yourself, all to do with how to get your own clothing made. And then we have the last year, we have started building up our sampling and development studio. So we are now physically going to help you guys. You've got the ideas. We're going to help you build them into like commercial designs. And then we're going to make up your physical samples in-house. We can do fit sessions with you guys. We can get your branding sorted. We can do kind of the full works, all here in the countryside, in the middle of England. And I promise you there won't be any dodgy pins or tape in sight apart from in the fit session. So that's our story. it's a lot of me and a lot of my experiences and a lot of my talking. And a lot of the time I feel like this is kind of what people like to see, which embarrasses me. But I'm so passionate about Get Stuff Made and about helping you guys, because I you know, if I can do it, and I found, you know, if I found it challenging and could do it, imagine what could have been achieved if I'd have got someone like me saying, hey, right, this is how you do this. This is the next step. Oh, let me do that sample for you. Let's get someone who can actually put that together. Like, it's a really exciting process to go through if you've got someone there to lean on. So yeah, that's our story. If you want to reach out and get in touch, our website is getstuffmade.co.uk. You can head over to Instagram. We've got a Pinterest. But yeah, email me, Demi, Demi, at getstuffmade.co.uk. And if we can help you turn your ideas into your, you know, amazing, exciting new brand, we'd absolutely love to help. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you see you again soon. Thanks, guys.